Hey folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. We are joined with my beautiful, lovely wife, Rivkah. Sorry, I had our mics and our ears up pretty loud there. About blew my eardrums out, threw me off when I started speaking. All right. Well, here we have another live stream. Are you ready over there?
Yes.
All right. She takes like
It's
all
Travis
afternoon to get
and
ready.
Rivkah. I have this thing where it has to be the same every time.
I know. I
And now
messed
I'm
up.
okay.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm all right.
I got thrown off by the loud, piercing eardrums. Oh, I guess we should turn the comments section on
May I
for
have
us.
that pen over there?
Pen. Oh,
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
All right. I do have another weekly recap of news. A whole bunch of stuff. I actually thought that this week would not have near as many as we've had in the past, and well, of course, I was wrong. We've got like 4 pages. Um, of all kinds of fun-filled stuff. You can almost, if you really pay attention to the stuff in the news, you can kind of see a pattern going on of things that's probably happening. Lots of people in the chat. Shalom, everyone. Got Oklahoma and Texas and Alabama,
Virginia.
Northwest Florida, Puerto Rico, Pennsylvania, Iowa.
And a good howdy.
A good howdy.
I like howdy.
Howdy, y'all. Minnesota, Vermont, Southern Arkansas. Oh, Katie Ann's here.
Hi, Katie Ann. With the
See.
girls, she says.
Yeah. All right. Well, how's everyone's week been? I know not all of you are ready to garden, but for those of you that it's that time of the year, are you ready? Have you been getting anything planted? Are you holding off? Someone here from Fort Myers, holding off just a little bit, just to make sure. Like tonight, they're calling for a freeze tonight, so it's a good thing that I held off, I guess, a little bit. I've lived here long enough, and we got people. Oh, we got Naples, Florida, in the Rumble chat. We've lived here long enough to kind of take it slow. Someone from Spring, Texas, in the Rumble chat. Because I don't want to jump the gun. It's hard. It's hard here in the Ozarks because you always get this warm early spring weather for a few weeks, and you want to just jump out there and start planting. But we usually get towards the middle end of May a freeze. Last year we had an inch or two of snow, like what was it, 3rd of May, 2nd or 3rd of May, I think. Something like that. We talked about that.
It doesn't mean that you haven't spent time in the garden.
No,
You've spent hours and hours
and
hours.
I've got a lot of time left in the garden still. We've got some things planted, and then there's stuff that comes up from last year that's doing really good too. But it is that time of the year, folks. And it's funny because when I talk about it, I always get these folks, and some of you may be listening, that there's one right there, snowing here in Colorado. I talked about it. Someone says they don't plant till the middle of May. I talked about it the other day about planting, and someone's like, I've got 4 feet of snow in my backyard because they live way up north.
Bruce is here.
Bruce is here in the house.
Bruce is here is what I said.
Spirit Skies watching on Facebook. Not too many people watch on Facebook, but we do simulcast this on Facebook and Rumble, just in case anyone over in those places want to watch. And there's a few people on Rumble. Linda's watching. And let's see. All right. Well, if there's not anything super pressing at the moment, we're going to jump into this news recap because it takes like 10-15 minutes to cover it. This news recap is first sent out to my Patreons, and then I posted on tphnetwork.com, which is our website, our own social media website, tphnetwork.com. The TPH is the Prepared Homestead. That's what it stands for. There's like 7,000 or 8,000 people over there. It's its own standalone free speech platform. Functions similar to Facebook, and you can go over there and join and talk to others and meet others. And then I posted on Twitter after this live stream.
Somebody found over 100 morels.
Oh my goodness. My mother's been driving me nuts about if I've found any morels, and I haven't had much time to get out and look. Every time that I have time, it's just not the good time to go look for morels.
Apparently.
The best time is
Apparently,
after it's rained.
Here, let me move this
and when it gets to
better?
about 65, 70. Yeah, that's pretty good. So if you have a warm day after a rain, that's a really good time to run out there and check for morels. But I haven't had much of any time this year. Someone's got cooties. I don't know what that is. I'm not sure.
You're not a product of the 80s. Come on.
Someone says in Alabama, they're eating out of the garden till hurricanes hit. Someone from Washington State's here. Then someone else says that they're working on their garden this next week. Monday through Wednesday is their garden days that they've got.
Someone wants to know, what is a morel?
It is a type of fungi mushroom that
doesn't taste like the normal mushroom.
No, it does. Forget everything you know about like the little button mushrooms or whatever that you get in the store. It's nothing like that. It doesn't even have the same texture, and it's different. It's good. It's really good. Not seeing any morels yet in Salem. Yeah, same thing here too. Especially because of where we're at. It's not that we're like really far north in the Ozarks. Where we're at, there's like a big, huge valley. It's, I don't know, several square miles in size. And it's always just a little bit cooler here than it is the rest of the area. I don't know. It's weird because like storms, we've watched so many storms blow in and it'll start to hit that ridge line of that valley and it'll just split and go around.
We're not complaining though.
Not complaining.
Except when we need the rain. Then
we've always,
then we complain.
You can check on the local weather and, in our area, and we're always a couple of degrees different. So I know that's only a couple of degrees, but it does make a difference. I always plant a little bit later here.
Say hi.
Hello, hi, Shoshana. All right, let's jump into this news briefy thingy, and we'll get it out of the way. A lot of different things going on. See if you can kind of pick out some patterns and that kind of stuff. We have 72, I think. Yeah, 72 items on the news.
They're not the kind that you trip on. Let's just make that clear.
No,
they're
morels
the kind
aren't
you
the
eat. They're
trippy
delicious.
kind. They're not the trippy kind.
Apparently,
they're really great pan fried. A little butter and some flour, and you pan fry them.
If you eat flour.
If you eat flour, which
if not, just
we
some
don't
butter.
do that, but yeah, butter.
That's
fine.
What Shoshana said. Just some
yeah,
butter.
Just the butter's fine. All right.
All right. I'm gonna be quiet.
All right. Mass shooting with multiple casualties in Louisville, Kentucky. This is all I forgot to say. This is this past week from last Sunday, April 16th to today, April the 22nd. Number 2, chaos erupts in the streets of downtown Chicago as hundreds of teens and young adults go on violent and destructive rampage. Some of these things we talked about in videos this week. Space Force Major General John Olston states that UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon, and UFO encounters have been occurring globally. At least 20 people shot at a birthday party in Dadeville, Alabama. Germany officially shuts down its remaining 3 nuclear power plants. That's down from a total of 17 down to 0. Russia, China, Iran, Pakistan announced their readiness to help rebuild Afghanistan. China and Russia working to have close strategic communications between their militaries. Iran invites Saudi Arabian King Salman to visit Tehran. U.S. announces 200 military personnel now stationed inside of Taiwan. U.S. money supply shrinks at the fastest pace since the Great Depression. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen states economic sanctions on Russia and other countries put U.S. dollar at risk. Taiwan purchases 400 anti-ship missiles from the United States. China states it is ready to facilitate Middle East peace process. Iran offers to facilitate peace negotiations in Ukraine. German foreign minister states Europe must defend global order. Hundreds of military-aged males from China heading to the southern border, that's our southern border, in another migrant caravan. Study shows there have been at least 161 mass shootings in the United States since the beginning of the year. Building permit applications drop 8.8% in March. U.S. dollar now only accounts for 47% of foreign exchanges, down from 67% in 2003. In 2022, China led the world in trade surpluses, ending the year with an $880 billion in trade surplus. U.S. led the world in trade deficits, ending the year with a $1 trillion trade deficit. Report shows more Americans are now using buy now, pay later services just to purchase groceries. 4 killed in mass shooting in Maine. U.S. admits to sensitive technology used at the Ukrainian power plant, meaning our sensitive technology. So our secret sensitive technology is being used at the Ukrainian nuclear power plant and warns Russia not to touch it. Mexican president accuses Pentagon of spying on Mexico. Manhattan, New York parking garage exploded and collapsed, trapping and injuring several people. Facebook lays off another 4,000 employees. North Korea to launch military spy satellite. Turkey has purchased 204 tons of gold in the past 15 months, second only to China's gold purchasing. Russia drafts law to allow cryptocurrencies to be used in international trade settlements. Montana state officials warn citizens of H5N1 and an outbreak in mammals after 12 mammals die of the virus. And maybe this is reaching pretty far in the conspiracy world, but it's interesting that this is happening in Montana after that spy balloon spent a lot of time hovering over Montana, the one from China. Just saying. Disney reports thousands of layoffs, including 15% of their entertainment division. China's military spending increases to $229 billion in 2022, up from only $25 billion in 2002. Reports show that 70% of Americans say they are feeling financial stress. Ukraine receives first Patriot missile systems from the United States. New York Times reports China is on track to triple its number of nuclear weapons. White House announces shipment of artillery shells being sent to Ukraine. U.S. House Republicans propose raising the debt spending limit by $1.5 trillion, adding raising the debt limit an additional $1.5 trillion. U.S. urges Turkey and Hungary to quickly ratify Sweden's bid to NATO. The United Kingdom reports multiple Russian submarines detected moving in unusual patterns. Biden announces an additional $325 million in military aid package for Ukraine. Biden, his new housing plan will charge home buyers with good credit an additional fee to subsidized home buyers with poor credit. Pentagon official testifying at Senate subcommittee hearing states the U.S. is tracking more than 650 UFOs and sightings around the planet. Never before seen footage of supposed UFO released at Senate subcommittee hearing by the U.S. military. U.S. debt ceiling issue could cause problems sooner than expected due to the lower expected income tax revenues. So they're saying that the government is getting less revenue this year from income taxes, which could cause them to hit the debt limit a little bit earlier than expected. More than 3,300 sea lions die in Chile from the H5N1 bird flu. Study shows in the past 48 years, this one here, it's not like top breaking news, but it's definitely been something I've been talking about on this channel for a long, long time. Study shows in the past 48 years, there have been $50 trillion in wealth transferred from the lower 90% of citizens to the top 1%. $50 trillion in wealth has been transferred from us common people up to the 1%. NATO Chief Stoltenberg said that Ukraine's bid to join NATO to be discussed at the July summit. He also says that it's pretty much a sure thing. They just got to work out the details. Robert Kennedy Jr. announces bid for Democratic nomination for president, which is, most of you know that was very anti-vaccine. So it's interesting. And he's, I probably wouldn't vote for him, but he's definitely very awake and gets it, a lot of the conspiracy stuff. JP Morgan mortgage volume fell in first quarter by 77%. to $5.7 billion as compared to $24.7 billion last year. 39% of Americans say they have skipped meals over the past year to make housing payments. 2 dolphins test positive for the H5N1 bird flu in Chile. U.S. billionaires are 1/3 or 30% wealthier than they were in 2020 at the beginning of the pandemic. A contingency of U.S. forces are being sent to Djibouti, which is a country in East Africa, for possible evacuation of diplomats from Sudan. And just before I got on, I saw that they were, in fact, evacuating diplomats, U.S. diplomats from the embassy there in Sudan. IRS pays out $23 billion less in refunds this year than in last year. So the IRS allowed you to have $23 billion less of your money. $100 million in gold stolen from a Canadian airport. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen states that decoupling from China would be disastrous to the U.S. economy. Former President Donald Trump warns a big recession is coming. Federal prosecutors are considering charging Hunter Biden with tax and gun-related crimes. Brazil has simplified the system for local currency transactions between the central banks of Brazil, Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay. The G7 considers a ban on Russian exports. A new bipartisan bill to allow the U.S. Mint to alter metal content of coins to save money. This one's a big one. It was a tiny, tiny little blip this week in the news. And I'm telling you, I think this is a big one, maybe one of the bigger things. So the backstory, a pause on my list here. The backstory is they're saying that nickels, which of course are worth 5 cents face value, cost them 10 cents to make. And they're trying to reduce the amount of semi-precious type metals or valuable metals in our coinage. Now, they've already done this starting back in 65. They took the silver out. They took the copper out of pennies in 82 or 83, and now they're wanting to take anything that's valuable out of our coins. And so they're trying to pass a new bill. Why this is important is because every nation in pretty much human history that's having financial problems, they devalue their money, and this is one of the ways by putting cheaper metals in it, and it's usually right before a complete collapse. Rome did that. They were putting less silver and gold in their money. This happens. It's very common, and it's usually a sign of bad things to come. Tax receipts are down 30% over last year. Japan reports its first case of H5N1 in mammals after testing a dead fox. China is building a cyber weapon to seize control of satellites. China states both sides of the Taiwan Strait belong to Beijing. Multiple injured in a mass shooting in Washington, D.C. Germany expels 20 Russian diplomats. Chile is nationalizing their lithium industry, and they are like the second largest lithium producing country, which is a big deal. South Korea to consider sending lethal aid to Ukraine. China says if you do it, that's a bad thing for you. Freight volume in California drops below 2019 levels. And Washington state legislature has passed a semi-automatic rifle ban, and the governor is expected to sign it. And last but not least, home sales fell 22% in March over last year. The end.
Like 3 people said that was depressing.
Someone says testing dolphins for viruses. Yeah, isn't that fun?
I laughed at the foxes. I mean,
The
but dolphins,
fox,
how do you...
yeah,
Are we going to start doing the mangoes next?
I guess so.
But here you go.
She takes notes of your comments while I'm doing that so that I can.
I missed some, but
yeah,
I
I
tried.
said hi to Linda.
Okay, so Waypoint says, which way is better to watch for us? YouTube or Rumble?
It doesn't. I mean, for me, for us, it's not too big of a deal whether you want to watch on Rumble or YouTube. But yeah, eventually we know that we're going to have to go full time into Rumble, and that's why we're trying to keep, pushing people to move over to Rumble. As far as like money,
we are trying to do more over there.
We've never received a penny from anything we've put on Rumble, so I don't know if it's actually going to be anything that is worthwhile financially, but at least we can say what we want over there. So there's that. Hearth and Home, yes.
They're in the house. say hi.
Oh, they're in the house. Hearth and
Yeah.
Home Nostalgia is in the house. If you watched the Friday afternoon video, these are some very dear friends of ours, and they have a really cool YouTube channel. Okay, this is not a commercial because I get nothing out of it, but they have a really cool YouTube channel, and they take like old time radio shows, you know, the old detective shows and that kind of stuff, and they play them, and they'll have like some neat visual images if you want that, or you can just, because it's mostly just audio, so you can have it play in the background. um wow, this would be better without Rivka. No, no, thank you. I'm fine. Anyways, that's kind of rude.
Kind of.
Yeah. um anyway, so this YouTube channel, they do a lot of old time trivia on old actors and things like that. It's pretty cool. They make it fun. They talk about, you know, how people dressed back in the 30s and 40s and 50s, or things that they said, little sayings and stuff. Anyways, it's very wholesome. And YouTube has been just it's crazy. I mean, I understand when they ban me for things and demonetize my stuff, because I'm edgy. I try to be, because I want people to, you know the truth. But their stuff isn't edgy. It's just wholesome, family friendly stuff. And they're constantly getting harassed and demonetized and banned. So please go over there to Hearth and Home Nostalgia is their YouTube channel name, and watch them. Rivkah is awesome.
No,
I
that's
know.
not.
I am married to her, so I know that for a
No,
fact.
what is the old time radio YouTube channel?
Yeah,
Explain.
it's
That's all. Somebody's
it's
asking.
Hearth and Home Nostalgia. That's the name of the channel. You can look for it. And if you want to see their long format stuff, click on the little where it says live, and they post like 6 hour long, or maybe shorter or longer, but 6 hour long videos. And all it is those old time radio shows playing, and the old commercials, back before we had TVs. And so you can have that stuff just playing in the background like a radio station. That's why they make them
really
long.
Cool.
That's why they make them really long format, so that you can just, click it, have it playing like you would be listening to a radio show back in the 30s or 40s or something.
Whatever.
Yeah, cooking, whatever.
Or out in the garden.
Yeah, anything like that. Yeah, and it's very wholesome. These people wouldn't, we know them very personally. They would never post anything on there that is inappropriate. So you can have it playing, and your kids can listen to it. It's pretty cool. Okay. Yeah, Rivka's pretty cool.
I don't. Y'all can
she's
stop
pretty
now.
awesome.
That's all right.
They're saying the same thing. Saying the same thing in the Rumble chat.
We are. Somebody said, look right here. Let me highlight this comment. There, so you can read that.
Tell Travis and Rivkah, I've been watching y'all for quite a while. I now have Rumble because y'all said you were switching that platform. Yes. And so it's a transition.
It's going to be a minute.
Pretty much everything
and more on Patreon too, probably.
Yes, most everything that we post here on YouTube is also on Rumble. So you get all that, and then we post additional content over on Rumble. Thank you, Bob R., for that. Someone in Rumble asked about the coffee company. It's mooseruncoffee.com. Moose, like the animal, runcoffee.com. Really good stuff. There's another family, friends of ours, and they make organic home roasted coffee, and it's really amazing stuff.
And then Seamus asks if you have a Ukrainian flag. If you're hanging a Ukrainian flag.
I don't have a Ukrainian flag, and this isn't a lot of people think this is a regular American flag. It's not. It's actually the Sons of Liberty flag, which it's only the red and white stripes. There's no blue canton with the stars. It's a Sons of Liberty flag.
Say
thank you. Thank you, Bob R. All right, Hearth and Home Nostalgia rocks, someone says. They are really cool people too. So just saying. Well, folks, what do you think about this new stuff? There's a couple of things, just my opinions, to point out. I don't know if there was anything there. And this is going to be a deep one. You have your muck boots and your hip waders on?
I need to go get them.
Better go get them. All right. there has been more and more in the news, really since, well, I mean, before the China balloon thing, but since the China balloon thing, it's like
Oh,
they're just out in the open that, yeah, there's like aliens and there's, spaceships flying around the planet, and there's all these alien encounters that we're investigating. There were two things that I pointed out on here this week that the Major General of Space Force basically admitted that these UFOs happen all over the world. And in the Senate hearing, they were saying that, they're tracking 650 alien ships and stuff. There was a report a week or two ago, government Pentagon stuff, saying that that there are most likely smaller alien ships flying around in our atmosphere, because that there is some mothership, somewhere out in space, away from our planet. Thank you, Desperate Prepper. So yeah, Mike
yay!
Adams.
Can I highlight that?
Mike Adams
thanks the gentleman.
Used my news briefs.
For anybody that might not know.
Yeah, the health ranger, Mike Adams, he's used these news briefs before.
Sorry, I was
no, it's all right.
I didn't mean to.
So, anyways, my opinion, and this is strictly my opinion. Yes, Rivkah is a Proverbs 31 woman. That's true.
Y'all can stop. It's okay.
Anyways, my opinion.
I'm gonna try not to interrupt you as I interrupt you.
That's all right. I don't. Just pause for a moment. Is that not how most married people are?
I don't know if these people that say that aren't married.
I don't know.
Are they?
Like we talk, how you see us talk. That's how we, like, when we're talking privately, and we're getting into maybe some kind of thing in the news or some conspiracy or something in the Bible. We'll sit there, like, she'll figure something out in the Bible, and she's like, "Oh, did you see what this says?" or something historically, and we'll go on for a couple of hours or more, basically like you see in here, where we're just kind of back. I mean,
I've been actually kind of quiet this time, and I didn't even interrupt you once while you were doing this. But
that's just what we do.
Sometimes, even when you're reading this, I'm like, whoa, hang on, let's. Yeah. I need to say something else about that.
I guess I could go, "Woman." Well, you interrupted me or something like that. But anyways, that's just how we are.
I could say the same thing to you.
I know.
We interrupt each other. It's all right.
Yeah. But anyways, back to the alien thing. I kind of have a feeling that they're going to do some alien disclosing, maybe somewhat soon. I don't know.
Okay, we've been,
because they've been really talking
like
about
it. Right?
I know, but they have been talking about it a lot in the last few months.
But remember when Trump was in office, how it was like they ramped it up. We were gonna release the files and all of this other.
But now they're,
and then there was like a dead space, like it was just quiet, and now the balloons and all this weird stuff, and now they're talking about it like just casually.
Right. In the past, the government either completely ignored it, or they're like, "Oh no, it was a weather balloon. Oh, it was some bunch of cows farted and the gas went up and it reflected off
and
the
Pope looked crazy because he said that he believed that
all that kind of stuff."
Now, and then the government just ignored that.
Yeah, someone says blue beam. That's probably what it's going to be. It's either going to be blue beam, or it's going to be Nephilim kind of things, or maybe a little bit of both. Luke and Chelsea are in the house too, I guess, somewhere. So, yeah, there he is. I see him. So I'm wondering, yes, the aliens are a distraction and they don't exist. I mean, well, I think they exist. They're just not what we're told they're aliens. I think that they're fallen angels. That's just my opinion. And you don't have to agree with it at all. You don't have to agree with it at all. And I'd still like you just the same if you didn't agree with me. It's just
highly, what don't they say, sus? It's very sad.
Right. I just think it's strange how we've gone for 60 plus years, 60, 70 years as a government officially denying their existence.
Roswell didn't happen.
Right. All these kinds of distracting away from them, until where all of a sudden now it's just seems to be every few weeks we're just, as a government, not we, but as a government, we're like, yeah, we got these aliens flying around in space from a mothership, and we've been tracking them, and we can't figure out their technology. Here's some more videos. Like, they're actually, they are releasing, the government's releasing these videos. These are videos that's not been all over YouTube. They're classified videos. They're like, yeah, this hearing that I gave in this news, the Senate hearing, is typically a classified closed door hearing, except this time it was open to the public. That's strange. It's a Pentagon Senate Armed Service Committee subcommittee. I can't remember. I didn't put it down on the news brief, but it has a special designation. And they typically, it's a closed door, classified, only need to know type of meeting. But this time, strangely enough, it was public. The information that was in there was public. They allowed the news reporters to come inside. They released the videos that they were showing that was classified videos. That's strange to me.
But the thing that I was saying was that it's not just that they're talking about it. It's that it's with such casual.
Yeah, that's
it's just so like, it's another sighting.
Mhm.
Like they
Oh, well.
skipped the whole shock and awe thing, and
Yeah.
now it's like,
Yeah.
and nobody's paying attention, and that's okay. But I don't know. It's very weird.
I don't know how that's going to
It does make you
fit.
wonder, what are they actually?
I don't know how it would all
what is
fit into
actually
everything
going on
that's going on. I kind of think as a separate, hey, Liberty and Justice says, it looks like TikTok, not a user, might be banned in Montana. We can send letters to our governor to tell him we are against this. I would greatly appreciate
for
it.
this.
Yes, or
For
this.
or against
for
it.
or against this. Yes. I did see that Montana is
she
trying
wants
to.
your advice.
I think here's my thing. I think that TikTok is bad, and it's not because of China's, spying on people. It's because it's a horrible influence on people. But if you're really worried about government spying on you, then you shouldn't be on any social media, because probably Facebook spies on you more. But as far as the really bad influence it has on children, I'm going to be okay with banning it. And I know that's a very unlibertarian thing.
But what I was going to say is exactly that. Like, if you ban that, then it opens the door to ban anything, doesn't it?
It's true. But it is a foreign
we're not
government
against parents banning it, or unless there's like a safety concern where you can prove that. I don't know. You'd have to prove all of that, though.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But I mean, there was problems with like military personnel using TikTok, putting their silly little videos up, and then they were getting all kinds of, I guess, intel and stuff. China was. But anyways, the whole alien thing, I think it's just strange. I think that they're going to do
that
something
in conjunction with things like this.
Yeah, like Mexico,
and then this
Mexican president says that Pentagon's been spying on them. There was, of course, more to that. They have all kinds of intel indicating that the U.S. government has been actively spying. Which is that a big surprise? I mean, here's what would surprise me: if they found out that there was any country that the U.S. government was not spying on. Like, is there any country that we're not spying? I would almost bet you anything, if I were a betting man, that we spy on everybody. That's just my opinion. Again. Anyways, do you have anything to add to this?
No, I just read because you were talking about the metal content inside,
in the coins.
Right? Yeah. I was reading though yesterday during the day, in between preparing, about the cost of silver, like silver that you're like piddle around with, like just regular dimes and quarters that are silver, is about to, but it's about to be like,
there are
unaffordable.
A lot of people, there are a lot of people that think that it's on the verge of exploding, but there's also been a lot of people thinking that for a while. But it's very possible that silver is gonna go up and up and up.
So back to Miss Justice. I don't know if you say Leticia or Letitia. So she's asking your advice on how she should call it in to her senator.
That she should or shouldn't?
Yeah. Well, like if she should call to support it or not. like I personally would say no, because I worry about the opposite end of that spectrum.
Yeah, it's hard because at my
But
very
we
core,
really
I'm a
hate
libertarian. I am a
TikTok.
small government. I am what is used to be referred to as classically liberal. Okay. Now, a lot of people are like, what? You're liberal? No, 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 no. That used to mean very ultra constitutional libertarian, small government. And so my problem is that you're giving government power to do something. And is that going to eventually come back and bite you in the hind end? It's possible. I think the only difference with this one is that it is a foreign government. It's a foreign government that is using technology to probably, yes, actively spy on us. So I think in that way, I could, at least for myself, spin it that it's still libertarian for us to ban something from a foreign government that's trying to spy on us.
And because you, like, when you do this, like there's an and equal and what's the word? Equal. I'm sorry, I'm having a brain spacey thing. Reaction.
Yeah.
Equal and something.
Yeah,
There's a word
equal
there.
reaction to it.
Yeah. Opposite. There you go. Opposite and equal or equal reaction
Right.
to the opposite, like to the other side of the spectrum. So if
Grandma Ginger's in the house.
hi. So if there's a precedent set based on, you know, the influence it has, it can, like, who decides who is bad?
Right.
Who decide, like,
Exactly.
who's going to decide that?
Exactly. Like if the bill specifically says something that, you know, that if they're owned by a foreign government adversary, I might be able to say okay with that, but it's just I'm really I'm just always leery of voting anything that gives government any kind of extended power. That's just me. Anyways,
somebody offered us a suggestion. Instead of silver, buy copper.
Copper, you can do copper
I think
too.
that's
Copper, of course, isn't anywhere near as valuable, at least when in compared to the US dollar.
I'd
But
vote
it
for
is.
you. I'm sorry.
Luke is going to run for president. All right. Everybody go vote for Luke. But copper is used a lot. And there is indication that either A, there is a lot less copper on this planet than we thought, or B, the elites are hoarding it because it's used. I mean, think about it. The copper wiring, the technology, we use copper everywhere. And the last several years, the major copper mines on this planet have been getting less and less and less and less copper. So, yeah, I would.
This is true too.
Copper's probably going to explode.
It's going to explode also because of the battery.
And you
like
can,
as soon as the battery strips.
Yeah, and
like
you can,
mining.
you know, you can keep your own copper, you know, any copper wiring or something like that. You can keep it yourself. You can even buy little smelting, you know, kits online where you can make little bars for yourself.
It's a little late to be, but you know, I still think it's better late than never at this point.
It is, but it's not. And here, this is where we have to break our minds free from this Federal Reserve US dollar, which is not, it's Federal Reserve note currency system. Silver is the same all the time. And the only thing that's going up or down is the US dollar's value. And so as it looks like it takes more Federal Reserve notes to buy silver, that just means that they're worth less. And so if you buy in now at $25 to $30 an ounce versus $15 to $20 an ounce a year or two ago, yeah, you're putting more cash up front, but it's going to keep going up.
Yeah.
You know, if silver's at $200 in a year from now and you bought in at $25, $30, or $35, you still did good. And in the end, you do good, period. You do good, period. It doesn't matter what the value of, because it's not an investment, folks. Buying silver and gold, current physical coin is not an investment. It's a hedge against the collapsing dollar. It's different. It's not like buying derivatives or buying stocks and bonds where you buy and then you sell when it's high, you know, high, and then you buy in when it's low and then you sell when it's high. Don't think of it like stocks. It's a hedge against the collapsing dollar economy. And that's what it is. So, I've heard people explain it doesn't matter what you're paying for it. Yes, you could buy more if it's worth less versus the dollar, but still, there's no price that's too high to buy it, really. What?
That one. Do you wanted to read that and respond?
Let's see. What about goldbacks? I think goldbacks have their place. I have some. I don't have a lot. We haven't bought a lot of goldbacks.
Don't you agree that gold isn't probably like for spending and potentially using as a currency?
Yeah,
That
the average person,
it is likely to get you hurt.
it could.
And they took gold
Right.
previously. So
with gold, because the average person has none or very, very small amounts of gold. So goldbacks gives you the opportunity to buy gold because you're getting fractions of a gram when you buy goldbacks. So you're getting tiny little bits, but it's gold. Like you could literally take a big old stack of goldbacks and melt them down and have actual, gold nugget. Gold is probably for those of people that have extra cash just sitting there. You have a savings account with $10,000, or you have a money market account with 25, 30, 50,000, 100,000, $200,000, and you just don't know what to do with it. Like you don't want to put it in the stock market. Putting it in gold is a good way to just hold your wealth. That's what gold is really for. It's for holding your wealth. Whereas silver is a way that you can actually use your wealth. You can use it to go buy, this from this person or trade,
and salt.
you can use it to buy things with. So that's kind of the
you can use that as a currency. It's been used before, right? Potentially. Salt.
Yeah. Someone asked, if they confiscate your land, do you think they will allow Rivkah to go along with you to the new city? Well, that's a hill that I'm willing to die on, so they're welcome to come try it. Goldbacks are expensive. The premium is higher on those than it is on regular gold. Part of it, they say, and I'm not defending them. I'm just saying the technology that they use to make goldbacks is still really new, and so it's expensive to make them. And they say that as they're producing more and the technology gets easier and cheaper, that they will come down. But I don't know. I can't tell you if that's true. Well, someone in the Rumble chat says that they would vote for you, Luke. So that's at least 2 votes for president.
On the platform to end
government.
Yes, that's what he said.
Quarters and dimes from 1964 and back are silver, 90% silver, and that's correct. I was watching a YouTube channel the other day that he does silver bullion type stuff and gold, and he was interviewing a silver and gold dealer, and he said it's becoming harder and harder to even get a hold of on it as a dealer. It's becoming very difficult for him to get a hold of pre-64 silver, or it's sometimes called constitutional silver, and it's usually just called junk silver. He said it's becoming very hard to get a hold of it. He said especially like quarters and half dollars and stuff. He said they're just almost impossible anymore. Collect pennies for copper. Yep, I do that. The kids are great about going through change around here, and if it's older than 1982, we just keep it.
And they know.
Yep. They know. Our 10-year-olds probably know more about coins and metal than the average 30-year-old in this country.
They're a little.
I mean, I know a lot more.
It's a hobby for them, though.
That's
to
their
be
little
fair,
hobby.
like it's just like they collect things.
Did
and
you know that in 19 blah 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 they use this kind of mint mark on this because they have
check
little
out books
They have
and they check them out at the library.
They check them out at the library and stuff, and they sit and read them. They're all 3 of the kids that live at home are obsessed with it. In fact, that's one of the ways that I reward them. I have a big bag. I have a big bag, like 3 or 4 pound bag of wheat pennies, and they love wheat pennies. And that's how, like, it's not necessarily an allowance, but if they just do something exceptionally good, like they're just really good that day, they're really polite, they're helpful or whatever, I give them a tip, depending on what it is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, wheat pennies, and
Or like
they think it's the coolest thing in the world.
if if two of them are like making me cross my
Like
eyes,
we want to strangle them or something.
like they're just like,
Parents know that.
I want to go to
Okay.
bed. Like I want to start the
Yeah.
day over. Right. There are days like
Yeah.
that. And then the one that's like, helpful and compassionate, that one's
Yep.
that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And like if somebody gets hurt and they express or show empathy and they, lack of selfishness, that sort of stuff too.
Right. Someone asked how you store salt. Salt is super easy to store. You don't have to worry about, hey, Sherry and Gary are in the house. With salt, all you have to do is keep it dry, because salt, you don't have to worry about bugs getting in it. You don't have to worry about germs and bacteria and stuff, because salt kills all that. You just need to keep it dry. 5-gallon buckets work. The drums, the food grade drums, if you get a lot of it, that works. Just anything that keeps it dry. And even if it does get wet, unless gets wet for a long time, but if it gets some moisture in it, usually all that happens is it just gets hard, and then you got to do and break it up. That's all you do. But salt is super easy.
No, I do not think so, Lorraine. I mean,
no,
unless
we don't use iodized salt.
So for iodine,
But
I'm not going to go into a lot of detail.
The iodized salt doesn't have that same shelf life. Excuse me.
And for iodine and for, that kind of, I'm not going to go into detail because we don't want to have to delete the video. But black walnut tincture is what we
we do a supplement for iodine, not in the salt. All right.
Should you put rice in the salt?
You could, yeah. That just keeps it from getting. We'd put rice in our salt shakers. Keeps it from clumping up. You could put some rice in the salt. Not going to hurt a thing at all.
Somebody says hello from Italy.
Well, hello there. Lemon trees from Italy. Someone asked about thoughts on perimeter alarms. I am all for them. I've advocated them because they have become, the technology is getting better and cheaper. For $100, you can get a standalone solar powered and battery backup power perimeter, like motion sensor alarm, where you can have it in your house and has an alarm go off, and you can have these wireless battery operated solar powered sensors on your property, and they're getting to where they're pretty good quality. I mean, you can find some on Amazon that have a quarter to half mile range, which means the sensor can be up to half a mile away from the receiver. That's pretty good, depending on the terrain, of course.
So say thank you, and then I want to address this.
J-Lo, probably not the same person as Jennifer Lopez, but J-Lo, thank you very much for the super sticker. What? No.
So, where did it go? It was about salt.
Someone says sea salt, salty rice, Redmond sea salt.
Go down. Oh. I'm sorry. Right here. So, hey, Suze. I'm going to guess this is a lady, like Susie, maybe Suzanne. It's true that some plants are
assuming people's gender.
Well, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I've read some plants are higher in sodium, not salt, but sodium.
Yes.
And like celery, for instance, is high. You can do some research. So that's true if you want to plant those kinds of things, and according to your zone, it's good to research that kind of stuff now. Make sure you have seeds, but if the stores don't have them, then check your feed stores.
KRL 104 in Rumble chats asked if the silver needs to be dimes and quarters. Oh, this is such a debated issue. I prefer my silver to be U.S. minted silver, whether it's the old pre-64 stuff or Silver Eagles that are currently minted. but there's a higher premium on that. So you're going to pay more for that. The reason is because it's a government minted coin, so that when all the doo-doo hits the fan, we're living in the Mad Max Book of Eli. Not that we probably will be, but let's just pretend for a moment. And you're going to take your quarter of an ounce of silver to buy a loaf of bread. Most people, they see a U.S. quarter, they're like, yeah, that definitely looks like a U.S. quarter. It probably is real. It's silver. It's good. If you just hand them a chunk of metal that's, you say, is silver and it's a quarter ounce, and they're like, I don't know, this could be fake. That's the advantage of purchasing and investing in U.S. silver and gold minted stuff, but you pay a higher premium. So I have both. We have both, just silver rounds and bars, and then U.S. minted stuff.
Back to the other. She said that in case you can't find salt in stores, and feed stores, but haven't you found it online?
You can buy salt online. When you get big bags, it gets heavy, and heavier, it's harder to get it.
It's been a while,
but occasionally, I'll find a decent deal on salt.
A lot of people are saying they're not finding them in the feed stores anymore, but you have the salt blocks though too.
Redmond's salt, Redmond's farm salt. You do what you want to with it, but we buy it and we use it, and we can't tell any difference. I also, on occasion, and it's really cheap, the big, like 50-pound or 40-pound, I can't remember how much they weigh, the blocks of salt, you can get them where it's just pure salt. The white ones are pure salt. And I understand that the outside's probably dirty, but it's salt. You can just chip it off and then take the inside. All that is just regular granulated salt that's been packed into a block under pressure. And you can chip off a piece of that and you can put it in your grinder and you have salt again. Is it the best quality salt, mineral salt stuff? No, it's not. But it's still salt. And it's super cheap.
And some animals require it.
Yes.
Like goats and sheep.
Someone asked what the difference of pink sea salt and regular salt is. Marilyn Rains. The difference is the mineral content. So your pink sea salts and your Redmond salts and your what is it, Irish or?
But sea salt has a good amount.
A sea salt
does. A good quality. You want to make sure there's no plastic in it.
Just regular sea salt. It's going to have minerals like calcium and magnesium and manganese and what some of the others. I can't remember all the minerals that we need in our diet.
Magnesium is the big, and
probably has potassium in it too. I don't know.
There's a whole, if you go to their website, there's a whole
you can find the information,
and it's on the label too. For Redmond,
just like regular old plain table salt has very, very little, if any, of those minerals.
And it can disrupt your thyroid function and other things. So
salt is actually one of those few things that your body absolutely has to have. Anyway, sodium. You absolutely have to have sodium to survive. So there.
So real quick, yes, Sherry Lou.
Mm-hmm.
I see you. I just was waiting for a moment. I will recheck.
I won't shut up. You got to just walk all over me and talk over me to get me to.
Well, she said it 3 times, and I've seen it all the times, but you were in the middle of talking. Right. So, and I wrote it down.
Okay.
See, in case you don't believe me. See, it's she said that she was going to send an email, and the honest truth is I forgot your name afterward and I didn't know how to search it. So I've written it down this time, and I'm going to look again. I apologize for that. All she said she was last week going to email.
Yes.
And I apologize. So sorry.
All right. If stored treated water, city water, would I still have to treat the water before storing? Generally, no. City treated water will store much longer untreated than well water, or what most people consider live water, which means it still has live bacteria and stuff in it. But eventually it does need to be treated. I don't think it's going to last forever unless you put it in a sterile container. But it'll last a lot longer.
Or like a black container with a lid so no sunlight can get in it. And...
Honestly, though, if I store any water long term, I've always treated all of it because that's not that hard to treat water. So
iodine and bleach are not the only ways. There are other ways,
Yeah.
right? But you
Yeah.
just have to research it. We're
So-
not going to go into details like we did last week.
Someone asks if stevia grows in North America. We grow it here. We grew quite a bit of it last year. It's typically not a perennial here. But yeah, we had a good amount of stevia last year.
But we don't use it for the children as often.
Mm-mm.
We're not going to talk about why. Look it up.
Right.
Look up why maybe you should reconsider if you
Yes,
use a lot of
stevia
stevia.
it does hormone disruptor stuff if you have too much of it. Oh, let's see. I posted a video earlier. Oops.
Miss Cheryl is right. Low or high levels of sodium in the body will make a person confused. Everything is a balance. And I had really high blood pressure, but part of the problem was that my sodium was really, really low.
Mm-hmm.
So she's right. I can't say that enough. It's just about balance. And
Someone asked about heavy droughts.
do you anticipate that this summer?
I talked about that actually Friday in my Patreon video. That was pretty much exactly what
I was
talking about.
supposed to do a video with
I
you
know.
on Friday.
It was Friday was much busier than we expected it to be. But I do expect it to be a hot and dry one, at least in our area. And I'm only basing this on what I'm already seeing happen here. So I'll give it to you real quick. I am not an expert, but I have lived here in the Ozarks a long, long time. And this year, this happens before, but it's not typical. While we've definitely had rain and quite a bit of it, and at times it's been flooding, we've had quite a bit of fairly dry spells during the spring, which is unusual here.
Like extended period.
Right. And in fact, when I was
Like
working in the garden and prepping it,
the total is good,
Right.
but like it's like because when it rained, it was like
Yeah,
the
it
sky
was just
opened
all
up.
at once.
Right.
And so we even had a 2-week period when I got the garden all prepped where there was nothing, and the garden was getting really dry, and the roads, there was dust, when you drove down the road, just like in the summer. And that's very unusual. We usually around here getting the garden in, um, you're fighting the mud. It's like mud season, and you're fighting to get it out in time because it's always so muddy. And this year it wasn't. This year there's been plenty of nice dry days, and we've also had several days over 80 degrees. That's a little unusual. I think it will probably be a hot and dry year like it was last year, at least here in our area.
Nanny, I'm not saying that everybody that has high blood pressure has low sodium. I'm saying that for me,
that was your case.
And so it's important. That's what I was saying. Everything in balance. It's important to know your own, issues, your own, to figure out like where you're deficient and sensitive and what you need more of.
Sherry says, yes, we've had a very nice long spring window opportunity to prepare our gardens this year. Yes, we have.
Katie Ann asked how I use stevia, like in a tea or powder it. And I will keep the leaves and put them in smoothies or, use it as a sweetener. Or I have powdered it before and again used it in just eat it whole like that way. But then you can tincture it, or there's another way to do it with like glycerin.
Yeah, glycerin type of extract.
Or you can like put it in, like a tea, like she said, like water. And I've used it that way too. So just keep the leaves and then steep it in the tea and, as a sweetener.
Someone asked wild lettuce if we grow wild lettuce. Technically, no, we don't grow it. God grows it because it grows crazy everywhere around here.
I have made, real quick.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Miss Sherry, I have made sole. And I just drink a little off the top. It's when you have a salt block on the bottom and it stays there for people who might not know. I just I've taken a teaspoon or two off the top every morning.
But no, the wild lettuce grows well. It grows wild around here, so we don't.
The
I
wild lettuce
don't
is wild.
necessarily grow it. It grows, and we do harvest it. And we make wild lettuce tincture every year. Let's see. What else? Anything else that's
Utah
just
has over 200% snowpack level this year, and they're colder and wetter than our usual springs.
Yep.
I
And
can't
I could
say
be
I'm
wrong.
surprised.
Yeah. I just
The grand solar minimum stuff, and
it's all messed up. It's all crazy. I was talking to, which I mentioned on my Patreon. You can go sign up. It's only $1 a month, $3 if you want the extra stuff.
that's tell them that's where you'll go. Probably if
there'll
you
be
get shut
stuff
down.
there. But anyways, I was talking to a neighbor that lives a couple of miles from us, and he has this area that we live in. He was actually born on the road that we live on, which of course I'm not going to tell you, but he was born on that road. He's lived in this area his whole life. He's an older gentleman, and he was telling me, he said this year, he said the weather's just weird. He said I can't put my finger on it. He said it's hotter than normal. He said we've had a nice spring, nice dry spring. He says I'm just worried it may be a rough summer. That's coming from an old timer that's lived here his whole life.
But we were concerned we were going to have a pretty rough winter too.
Yeah.
It was just weird. It wasn't as bad as it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know?
In fact, November was the worst part of the winter.
Yeah, that was our first snow, and really it was our last real.
Right. It's been spring almost since February. Seriously.
Weird.
Yep. Someone says it's still dry in Texas. Yes, it is. In fact, they are. I did see today that they're predicting excessive drought through that. What do you call it? From Texas up through Kansas and Nebraska and Dakotas and stuff like that.
Are you talking about Tornado Alley?
Someone asked if I will accept
That was funny.
Huh?
Are you talking about Tornado Alley?
Yeah, Tornado Alley.
Like right there.
Someone asks if we accept visitors, not to the property. Sorry, it's nothing personal. It's nothing personal. But we don't accept visitors to the property. You're welcome to come to one of our meetings, which we are having next Sunday, not this Sunday, not tomorrow, next Sunday. Those are open to the public. You're welcome to come to that. Missouri
Outdoors wants to know if you deer hunt.
Yes, and I didn't do any good this last year at all. But I didn't have a lot of time. This year I was like, I'm going to spend a good amount of time this year hunting deer. And every day something happened, and I was like, well, I've got like 15 minutes to get out there before the sun sets. I guess I won't go today. Someone asked about prepping beer. No, prepping beer doesn't have really a long shelf life, but you can make beer. You can make beer or wine or distill.
Get a distiller.
Yeah, you can do that. It's not that hard.
What's it called? Moonshine.
Someone asked if this is a Saturday night regular or just sometimes. We've been doing this every Saturday night for at least 3 months now, I believe. Someone asked with a bow and arrow, do I hunt? Not anymore. I used to. And the only reason that I don't hunt with a bow and arrow anymore is because I've had surgery, and part of the surgery was into the back spine and the shoulder blade area. And while I can draw a bow, it's hard for me to hold it. I mean, I have no problem pulling it. It's the holding it, even with a compound bow. So I can do it, but I don't do it anymore. Someone asks about wild lettuce. They can't find it in East Texas. I would think it would be growing everywhere in East Texas.
That's like the place that I would liken like most to the Ozarks.
Yeah. I don't have any wild lettuce seeds right now. It's not that time of the year, but if you can remember, here in a few months, I can try to send you some if you email me. Because like I said, we have it growing everywhere around here. Someone says use a crossbow. I should. I've been thinking about that, about getting a good crossbow. But yeah. Would a compound bow or crossbow be better for a beginner? Well, a lot of it depends on your state laws if you're wanting to hunt deer, because some states won't let you use a crossbow during bow season. Missouri is an exception. Missouri used to not allow it, but now Missouri allows a crossbow to be used during deer season, bow hunting season. So there's that. Okay. She's just writing me notes about people that we're supposed to email. It's nothing that important, guys. Don't worry. Let's see. Yeah, crossbow would probably be a good alternative for me. And I have used them before several times, but I haven't used one in a while. Let's see.
If you don't have wild lettuce on your property, so there's some things that are native here that we don't have on our property. So we go looking. You can go foraging.
Yep. Someone asked if I talk about the Bible on Patreon. Yes. Patreon videos are a little bit more personal in the sense that it's much less structured of the videos. Sometimes the videos are very similar to what you'd see on YouTube, but a lot of times I literally just have kind of an idea, and I'll just sit down and hit the record button, and I'll just talk to the camera like I'm talking to you. That's usually the difference with, and yes, so the Bible is talked about.
So Renee is talking about HB 1169.
Yeah.
This is my thing. One of them, like homeschooling, and this right here.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I do know who voted against it. I posted it on my Twitter just so that you know which are the people who voted against it, and to call and ask why. I don't know what else can be done, but I do agree that transparency should be paramount. And I don't know why.
What they're talking about is the Missouri House bill that require meat to be labeled if it's been genetically altered or modified or whatever. Someone, Springfield Ridge Farm, says strictly medicinal seeds is a great place to get wild lettuce, and that is true. I love strictly medicinal seeds. I have no business affiliation with them at all, but strictly medicinal seeds, they do predominantly herbal medicines, herbal plants. Now you can get your vegetables and stuff to them, but the bulk of what they do is medicinal type plants, and I love them.
So somebody's asking me about my skin, and I think it's called Exit 00 Cosmetics on Etsy. That's what I use on my skin. It's all handmade, and well, I was an esthetician, so I knew what to kind of look for. And she was an eczema sufferer, and I'm shameless. I'm not getting anything. She doesn't even know I have a channel, or you have a channel, not me, but that I would mention it on a channel, or that we, I guess, have a channel. But I love her face stuff, and so I buy it there. And then somebody else, hang on right here. Something about.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, that right there. What are your thoughts on how toxic the pre-packaged food is?
I'm sure it's toxic.
Are you?
It's all toxic. But yeah. Oh, we try to not have very much prepackaged food in the house at all. Like very, very, very little.
I try to do as much as I can from scratch.
Yeah, you do. I mean, she does really good.
I make stuff up too. Some days are better than others.
She's a really amazing cook, so I have no complaints whatsoever. None.
Also, Rebecca Sanford, like somebody said, if you wanted it now, you could go to Strictly Medicinals. But yeah, we don't mind sending it to you, but just put, what, like your name and what you're in all caps, so that we can see it. It's very, very hard to keep up with emails anymore. You get so many.
Someone asked if we make our own flour.
And then this right here. And how do you sign up for Patreon? There's all these questions.
Okay. How do you sign up for Patreon? Well, there's a link in the description of this video, or you can go to just Patreon and search for The Prepared Homestead, and you'll find it.
I used to make my own flour.
We used to make our own flour.
I don't
we
anymore.
store wheat berries, and we have a grinder, and we make our own. But we have cut gluten uh, pretty much 100% out of our diet.
I'm ketovore, which is
Yeah.
like heavy leaning protein. No.
And I'll tell you, like, she needed to do it. Her doctor, the tests and stuff, they were saying that it was causing too much inflammation. I wasn't having that problem necessarily, other than I was having insanely excessive acid reflux. I mean, bad acid reflux. And it had been going on for a while, and I was doing everything I could naturally and over the counter. I had tried everything. And there were some nights that she'll tell you I was just almost in tears. The acid reflux was so painful. And I cut gluten out, and it's gone. I don't have indigestion. I don't have acid reflux. It's gone. I don't remember the last time I've taken any kind of antacid stuff. So, but we do have the capability of grinding our own flour.
Somebody asked, PT asked, white or brown rice?
White or brown rice.
And I actually recently researched this. So it was actually Chelsea, our friend Chelsea, who brought it up, and I started kind of looking into it. But brown rice naturally has more arsenic in it, but the studies that they've done don't actually indicate that it's more absorbable. So like it does have more arsenic, but and then there's videos and information that you can look at, like what regions do you need to say something? Okay, so what regions to look for that has less arsenic. So regions like New Mexico and Texas actually have more arsenic, but even in the white. So, and then the long grain, I think, is and jasmine, I think, have less, but it depends on the region
Kate's
too.
In the house. Welcome, Sister Kate. Someone asked about apple cider vinegar. Yeah, of course. We use that and drink that.
An all
someone
meat
says
diet.
They started an all meat diet.
Got to try for joints and weight, and I just am going to tell you, you're not going to feel the same.
Yep.
In a good way. And ACV is apple cider vinegar is good for all kinds of stuff. But if your diet is awful to begin with, we've talked about this, or not awful, but if it's high in grains and processed sugar or anything like that, or too much carb, like too many carbs, your ACV is not going to make a difference.
I don't want to go down that road again.
We're not going to.
But last week we talked about it. And
you can check that video out on Rumble.
Yeah, we had to delete last week's video off of YouTube because we got too close to the bad side of talking about too much healthy stuff. But yeah, our opinion is when it comes to like natural healing and herbs and stuff.
And we've used baking soda too, but the thing is you want to get to a place where your gut is producing enough acid on its own.
Right.
And the key to healing that is going to be your diet.
Yep. But our opinion is while it's good to do all kinds of little natural supplements and herbs and all these things, if your diet is still, Hot Pockets and Big Macs and TV dinners, it's not doing a whole lot of good. You need to,
or if you follow
on your,
what's it called? SAD, the standard American diet.
Yeah, standard American diet.
It's very sad.
You need to get to where the food that you're eating is good, whole, natural, healthy foods, and focus on that. And then add any kind of natural supplements, herbs, anything like that. Yes, Sister Kate says edibles are up right now. They're everywhere. So right now is a good time to get out there and
my children love to
make you some,
get the dandelions.
Yeah, wild, wild salads.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed the other day we have a patch of
plantain is everywhere.
Yeah, of violets. We have a patch in the property where we always have a lot of violets.
And violets are excellent for women. Look that up.
Them. Yeah, violets. And then we have a ton of periwinkles on the property. Yeah, that's really good for. Oh my goodness.
For a lot of things, you can look that up too.
Someone says they're not getting any sound when they try to watch us live.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think that it may be on your end because no one else reports that. So I don't know what to tell you.
Somebody asked if our children eat the way that we eat, and for the most part,
For the
they
most
do.
part, yes.
There's no wheat, there's no gluten. We want them to be strong, healthy.
Yep.
But they are children, so I make things that are similar to other things.
They're allowed to have usually a little bit more carbs,
right?
Than but not like your standard child's carbs.
No. But like I'll make them like cupcakes with almond flours and coconut flour.
Well,
almond flour and I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's fine.
But almond flour, coconut flour, and then if I hardly ever use actual sugar, or I never use sugar actually, and then even honey is sparingly. I don't do that very often, and so when I make stuff like their birthday cakes, they can't tell that it's not.
She made some maple cupcakes.
No, they were vanilla on the bottom.
Yeah,
but the icing was salted maple cream cheese icing.
You could not tell that they were actually had no sugar in them, and they were gluten-free, and it was amazing.
Not just gluten-free, they were keto.
Yeah, they were keto, all natural. She made them completely from scratch using, it was impressive. Trust me.
And then Cheryl
red
says
bud flowers. Yes, we have been harvesting a lot. We've been harvesting a lot of red buds. Some in my kids have been picking them crazy. So, yep. Sorry, go ahead.
No, this person was saying that Cheryl Brown says, I think fasting is a good way and to clean out toxins. That's true. So is animal fat, like butter and tallow. That actually like deeply cleanses, but only if you know your blood sugars and stuff, because we're not trying to make you, do things, your body do things it shouldn't do. We're not going into details.
Someone asked, what fish do we eat? Well, we don't eat catfish. It has to have fins and scales on it, and then we'll eat it.
But
thank you, James Lopez.
Salmon. Y'all like salmon. Everybody likes fish except me.
I like salmon.
I'm the only one. It's
She's
okay.
not a big fish eater.
But I made it for you.
She's so weird.
It's just not. And I need it, which is sad. But actually, I know the answer to this, but I can't remember it right now. Do you know? Good for cravings?
For nicotine cravings? Oh, I can't think of it off the top of my head.
I know that there's
Grandma Ginger or Sister Kate. They're both in the room. They may remember. No.
Do either of you ladies know what kind of herb could be used to help curb cravings for nicotine?
Yeah. I can't think of it. I can't remember it. Yeah. No, we don't eat crawdads. Trout is good.
My children like to catch them.
Yeah, trout's
and play
good.
with them.
Cinnamon, peppermint, Sherry's saying, yes, Sister Kate, you're right. No lobsters, no crawdads. All right.
Lobelia. That's it.
That's it. The one. Oh, that's it. Yes.
Yay, we have a winner. That's the one I was thinking of anyway. Yes. But if cinnamon will work, that's new for me. And peppermint, I didn't know that. I don't know if you drink it or if, like with some of these, like lobelia, you can actually smoke it and actually helps repair lungs. And I'm not recommending you do that. But
yeah. All right.
You have to like stop me. Just. That's all right. I start talking and then I'm like, I did it. I did it again. And catnip, that's the other one
catnip.
That I was thinking of. Lobelia and catnip are the two that we.
Well, Fern Willis, she can probably address that because I think she's going to do a Rumble video. That's a lot longer of an answer to that than just a quick one right now. So she'll answer that one later. I know she'd already told me that. I'm not speaking for her. The simplest answer is that she wears it because she wants to. I think I'm going to do that one on
Patreon, though.
Yeah, she wears it because she chooses to.
Because I want to.
Yeah, let's see. Anything else?
Some of your favorite books. You like all of the Peterson books.
Not Jordan Peterson.
No,
a lot of people think it's the same. I've got one right here, so hold on. The
so
Peterson's
he has
Field
books
Guides
for regional, like this is amazing.
This isn't Jordan Peterson. It's actually Stephen Foster and James Duke. This is, my opinion, the best field guide for plants.
And he has, I mean, they have these for different regions, and then they have medicinal, and then they have an edibles one too, right?
Yeah. And it goes by, you see here, color. So you can go by color, the types of plants, the flowers. That's the best, I think. I mean, there's others, but that's my favorite.
And then there's some other books back here that are your favorite.
Yeah, there's a few. That's not all of them, but
I have a whole stack of books that I planned on using this last week that I never did. It's my fault, y'all.
Yep.
I'm gonna try to do it this week. I know I promised y'all last week, but
it was busier than normal last week, so we just didn't get as much done as we thought. All right. Brent was asking a question. Well, let's see.
I'm so sorry,
Brent,
first of all, Brent.
He follows me on YouTube and sends me all kinds of stuff on YouTube, which I'm very appreciative of. So like any news stuff, he lets me know a lot of times. So I'm always very appreciative. Some things that come to mind: if you have mimosa trees in your area, the flower or the bark can be made into a tea, and in China they refer to that as the tree of happiness, and it has a very natural, strong antidepressant, and they call it the tree of happiness because it lightens your mood. So mimosa tree, the tree that has the little pink cottony looking flowers on it, that's really good for just lightening the mood, helping with stress and stuff. So if they don't have that tree around where you live, you can buy it. It's also referred to as Persian silk tree. You can buy that online, like in a tincture or something. Yeah, Sister Kate. Oh, yes. Hold on just a second. I forgot about this.
But it's about what you were just saying. So adaptogens will be good for you. So if you want to look some of those up, like that helps with like your cortisol levels and your for sadness and grief. And that, because you're not trying to mask it, you just want, to not stay stuck in that place. So adaptogens, I think, are going to be really good. And then St. John's wort.
That was on my mind when I was talking, and I forgot to say it.
Okay, go ahead. Talk about
Sister Kate. She has written a book, and it's coming out soon.
She says also passion fruit flowers for
That's right.
grief.
Yes.
I forgot
about that. Sister
bit,
Kate, can you please, if you want to leave a link, Sister Kate, in the chat for your book, I am totally fine with that. She has written a book, and it's coming out soon. We pre-ordered it. I think we pre-ordered it the day it was available for pre-order. Maybe the second day. But if you want Sister Kate, you can certainly leave a link, or at least tell us the title of the book. But she has written,
it's called Homestead Hints.
Homestead Hints. It's available on YouTube, Amazon for pre-order, but it will be coming out soon, she says. And so we're really excited about Sister Kate's book, because if you don't know who Sister Kate is, she has a YouTube channel. She's the wife of Pastor Joe Fox, who also is Viking Preparedness on YouTube. But Sister Kate is, her way of explaining and teaching on YouTube is really good. I've always enjoyed listening to her stuff. She has just a amazing spirit and the ability to explain things and teach things. So,
somebody, Miss Sherry, she's recommending ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha, yes.
But some of us, I can't have that because of some issues with the thyroid. So I was looking it up real quick, the ones that I take. I couldn't remember it from my from memory. I couldn't call on it from memory. But it's like a B6, and then cordyceps, which I don't think anybody's going to argue with that. That's a wonderful one. And then American ginseng and rhodiola, and then PABA. Those are the ones that I take for mine. But ashwagandha is great if you can have it.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody should. If you've got some thyroid people shouldn't take it.
Right. All right.
Always ask your naturopath.
Eat lots of garlic. Absolutely. I eat garlic when I'm planting it. I'm crazy. I'll go out there and I'll be putting them in, and I'll take one of the cloves and chew on it while I'm planting it. I know it's crazy. Someone else says ashwagandha makes them sick.
The name for this, it's a medicinals. Strictly medicinals.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, strictly medicinal seeds. Just Google strictly medicinal seeds. It'll come up. And you get a cool catalog from them, and it's just a cool. Sugar cravings.
You're not going to like this. Do you know what I'm going to say again?
Go ahead.
It's your diet.
Yeah.
The healthier fat, and the more you get rid of all the processed carbs, like grain and processed carbs. I'm not talking about fruit, like certain fruits or whatever, but the more you get rid of that, the less you want it. And if you substitute it with healthy fats, like tallow and butter, then you're not going to crave sugar anymore. You just won't if you have enough fat and protein.
She knows what she's talking about. I mean, she just does.
When I crave sugar, like when I crave something sweet, I know I don't have enough fat, so I'll like put a cup of cream in my coffee, or something. Not a cup, but a bit of. I'm like, will you put extra cream in it because I'm hungry or I want something sweet.
Yeah, ghee works too.
Ghee is wonderful.
Yeah, ghee is wonderful.
And of the plant ones, avocado and coconut are the two, and olive oil, as long as you're not cooking at high heats.
Right. Fermentation is great.
If you are eating plant-based.
Yep. All right.
Which I don't endorse.
All right. So I think we're done. I mean, I know everyone's talking, but
yeah.
But it's probably time for us to get off of here.
Oh, y'all.
Yes, start by reading labels and don't buy anything that has fructose in it. Yep. Tallow, butter, schmaltz. Yes, we get and I'm not saying you have to get it there, but we buy tallow. I don't know, what is it? 10-pound tub? Probably.
You get me one for skin.
It's probably 10
which pounds. Is that Wagyu stuff. And that one is wonderful because tallow is one of the best.
It's like a creamed tallow.
It's because it's a little more refined. It's the best thing next to your skin. Like it match. It's sort of like goat milk is to human breast milk, what tallow is to human skin.
Yeah.
So but the other one, I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah, we get it in a tub. It's grass-fed tallow, because of course we don't eat lard, and so we use that. Anyways, all right, we're gonna call it a night. You folks are amazing, and just hope that you have a wonderful finish off the weekend and get your gardens out. And you are all a blessing to us. We have made some wonderful friends out of you, and we love it. So
thank you all. Well, we appreciate you.
Yeah, we do.
And your support a lot.
All right. Thank you. Go buy Sister Kate's book on Amazon. Okay. Homestead Hints, wasn't it? Yes, Homestead Hints. Go buy her book on Amazon. Now, you don't have to.
No,
I'm not telling you, but you should.
We think that you're going to love it because
if it's anything like just listening to her, it's probably a pretty good book. All right. You folks have a good night, and we will catch you in the next video.
Bye.